Welcome to City League Sports, the podcast where we share the love for all things Columbus City League. Today we have a former Eastmoor Academy Warrior on the show. Amani Burke is in the studio, everybody, and I am your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. I am excited to chop it up with today's guest. We're going to get into some stories. Amani, say hello to everybody. Say what's up.
What's up? Hi, everyone. Good to be here. I'm so happy to be here.
That's good stuff. So check this out, right? So everyone may not know. So I want you to give a special shout out here to Central Ohio Columbus City League, but then tell everybody where your shout out is coming from, because I don't think everybody knows where you're at right now in the world.
So I am shouting out from Dallas, Texas. That's where I reside now. And I am originally from Columbus, Ohio, Eastmoor Academy alum, Ohio University alum, women's basketball, girls basketball, all that. So, yes, I'm a Dallas Texan now.
Yes, indeed. Love it. So you down there, you got that southern big state heat going on. And so what's really interesting, right, is that, like you said, you grew up here, you're in Columbus. For our listeners who can't see you right now, Amani is sporting her Ohio U alum love, right? So Bobcats in the house. Yes, indeed. You know what I mean? She's got her love going on. And we're excited because, so for me, this is what I'll share. We're going to start off like this. I know your family, right? Like, I know your dad. I know your brother. And obviously, in today's show, while we're not going to focus on that, like you shared basketball and you come from a family of hoopers. So just give me, now look, and I know this answer, but for our listeners, are you the baby in the family?
I am the baby, yes.
Okay, so tell me about being the baby in a family of basketball. Like what was that like? Because I can only imagine, but I want to hear it from your perspective, because it seems as if the Burks and basketball go hand in hand. So you tell me, what was that like growing up in your house over there and being a Burke with a bunch of basketball people?
You want to know something? I actually just accepted the fact that I'm going to always be the baby. You know, it doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm always going to be the baby. So,
right.
But growing up, I felt like there was like a slight chip on my shoulder. Especially being Trey's little sister, everywhere I went, that's who I was. Trey Burke's little sister. Like, especially, don't let me be on the court. Oh, that's the sister of Trey Burke, sister star, you know? So a lot of the time, I'm always so proud of my brother, but sometimes I would be like, I know, but my name's Amani. I'm not you know? So it's been a blessing, though, to grow up in a basketball family, because I've just been able to do and see so much. And I feel like I have so much expertise now. Everyone's like, why aren't you coaching? Why aren't you still playing? But to be quite honest, I didn't even love basketball growing up. Like, I love to watch my brother play, my dad coach. Jared Sullinger, he's like a brother to me. I love just being around them. I would always be with them, traveling to AU tournaments, and they were always good. Like, that's one thing about my brother, like, that every team he's ever been on, every organization he's ever been a part of has just been elite. And it kind of helped prepare me for when I played and when I started to develop skills and travel as well. But it just wasn't the same level of intensity. It wasn't the same excitement. And I was like, I think I wanted to play the guys. I think playing with the girls is cool, but playing with the guys, it was just something else about it.
Certainly. So, and let me share. So basketball runs deep in your family because your grandfather is a Columbus City League all-league player. Your father is a Columbus City League all-league player. Your brother, a Columbus City League all-league player. And you, right? So, but today we are focusing on you. So you are a Columbus City League all-league player. You go on, you make all-district and all these other phenomenal things. And so I get it. So in the Burke household, for those that don't know, right, when you're out there in Columbus or out there in the world and you stop a Burke, if you don't have anything else to say, you can talk to them about basketball, because they get it and they know it. I can share with you, and you know this, but your father and I, he's a couple years older than me, but we had a lot of good basketball battles. I was always trying to, I'm always trying to beat Benji, right? Like he was the catalyst for me. So I knew if I had a good game against Benji, I was balling that day. Like, okay, you know what I mean? I didn't had a good day. So I love your pops, love your family. But for you now, so you didn't. I hear you had all this basketball around you. You get to Eastmoor. Everyone's expecting you probably to play basketball and be a part of it. So pull back or pull out of your hat. Just give me some Eastmoor Academy memories or things that really, you know what I mean, when you look back on it, something that maybe is a fond memory for you and just your experience.
Eastmoor, man. I always think about it. I loved high school. I would go back right now. It was so fun. It was so educational. But at the same time, I had the opportunity to be coached by Tia Jameson, who actually was at Ohio University with me. That's such a blessing. I always tell everyone about it because we're like this. That's my girl. Okay. And for her to have coached me for 2 years, and then my first 2 years at Eastmoor, and then when I got to Ohio University, I loved that. And then Charity, I always want to call her Charity Vibe, but Charity Martin, she my craziest coach. I love her too.
Yes, indeed.
And playing under those two, I think that's where my game developed mentally, because they pushed me for sure. I remember I played on JV, and my class though, the class of 2016, we had a great spread. Like we always played up. We always played that last couple quarters in the varsity games my freshman year. And that's how my senior year, 6 of us were offered scholarships to play.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And it was just crazy because we all made it a big deal too. Even if you I might not even keep playing, this is a big deal because you got here. We were a good team. We were so gelled together. And just the memories are endless. You have to ask me something specific.
Okay. Well, and I will. So I'm gonna do that, but I want to share to the listeners and the people that are watching. One of the things that warms my heart right now, being a person who is charged with the district's athletics for Columbus City, your smile that you just had when the memories come back, right? And talking about you when you shared about the coaches who have affected your life and been a part of your development and growth. That's for me what it's all about, right? People who can be a part of your growth path, a part of your support team, who you can go, man, I really had a great vault and an opportunity to do something special. But I'm going to talk about the obvious, right? Because if you've been following Columbus City Schools basketball, South Division, Eastmoor and Afrocentric have gone back and forth and had many, many battles. And so you've been a part of some of those special battles. And obviously that was a catalyst and a big game for us for quite some time. So share with me any game you want to mention. It could be a game where maybe you all came up short, or it could be a game where y'all won. Share with me that kind of rivalry in high school and what that done for your development.
Afrocentric always made you respect them because they had the best group always, and they were always ready to play. They were very disciplined. Coming from City League, you don't always see that. You don't always see the super disciplined teams, and you could tell when they walked in the gym, it was like, okay, yeah, we about to have to play real hard. We already played hard, but we about to really have to play hard. Every time we played them, it was a battle, Right. Yeah. And we really, sometimes it would go as far as off the court, where we'd be like, when we see them, but at the same time, those were my girls.
100%.
The game that I am going to speak of is obviously when we beat them because we made history.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay.
And it was in their house, and that just it was amazing, because me and my teammates, we were the team. We were always the underdog playing them, And so when we would come together and play hard against them, and I believe we also that year we won the City League championship, and that was my junior year. We had Monty Hill, Anae Braswell, Mahogany.
We give shout outs. We give shout outs to them teammates. Come on, we give shout outs to so you can share those names on here. Yes, indeed.
Team effort. Okay.
Yeah.
So that game though, I just remember it was so up and down. Every time we played them, it was very up and down. The atmosphere is always, it's just, I don't know, like something about playing in Afrocentric's little 4x4.
Yeah, in the old gym, in the box. Yes, indeed, in the old box.
It's not a game unless it's hot. It gotta be hot. Like I'm feeling like I'm about to pass out in these games, but like they were so fun because everybody would be there. They would hype them up and like they would score, we would score. They would score and it was a really good, it helped me mentally because I even played underneath some of the coaches at Afrocentric and I hated it. I used to hate it. They literally would push me so hard. And I think I also didn't mention this. I wanted to quit every other year. I wanted to quit so bad because I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm getting everything out of it that I could be. I'm like, I don't think I want to keep playing basketball. Like, and I really might not even had a real reason as to why I wanted to quit. It was just hard.
Just a level of frustration. Well, and and let me share this because I've heard people share that post experience, right? And I say this, what you just described though speaks to one, the support of your family. So let me share with you. And sometimes when you're a kid, you don't get a chance to feel it. You know it, but like every time I would speak to your mother and father, when they would speak about you all, I mean, their faces light up. They're so excited. They're so proud of everything that you all do. Like they walk, they can walk around with their chest stuck out because they're extremely proud parents. And you all have done all the things to make them be able to be proud. So you have that support system. You had coaches that were there to help support you through it because you're not the only young person that was in that space, right? A lot of kids get frustrated and then they go like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, maybe. But then somebody like helps pull you back in. You had a phenomenal experience. It's nice to hear you talk about that type of rivalry because, one of the things that I share on our end is that what we want here in Columbus City is we want all teams to figure out a way to compete, right? So like for all you coaches out there, I'm talking to you all right now, like, if your team ain't at that level, get into the lab, get into the gym, because now I'm going to ask you about the works. Talk to me about the work that you put in and how did you get to that space of being able to like what was a time period for you like in getting ready and preparing for a season to be the player that you were?
So I kind of, that last part I didn't really hear.
I was just saying, just share with us some of the preparation that you went into to just be able to be the player that you wanted to be and excel at a high level.
A lot of workouts with PJ.
Okay.
PJ, man, I mean, and a lot of it was just trying to develop my ball handling, shot. The work that I did with Johnny Clark, I owe my shot to him.
Jump shot.
Yeah, because I didn't really have an arc on my shot before I went to OU. And then when I got to OU, I mean, it was easy. Like it was muscle memory at that point. Yep. I was working out at the downtown WYMCA. Okay. And this was after school every day, dang near. And it's like, I had a lot of support, but just working out. I think that's why I wanted to quit too. If we're being honest, I don't like 100%. Working out. I don't like working out. But it was something about just like seeing my game develop, especially in because when I got to OU, I mean, I was playing and I was playing a lot of minutes, and I was like, wow, like this player that I am now was not the same person that was at Eastmoor Academy. Okay. But the work that I had to put in, I mean, I also don't want to speak about it too highly because if I'm speaking of my brother's work and then my work, I'm like, I probably wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. And,
I got you.
But yeah.
Well, and the work is. expected and meant to be hard, and that's what the difference is.
I watched my brother get up at 5 a.m. and I'm asleep, right? But I know he's up at 5 a.m. before school every day. This is in high school. And that separation that he made, I mean, literally getting up at 5 a.m. and then going to school and then practicing and then probably working out again. I think that's where I mentally wasn't there. I wasn't ready to do that. But the work that I did put in, it helped me get prepared for OU. And, you know, being a student athlete, that in itself is something you kind of have to prepare for, especially when you don't want to do it.
Right. Well, no, but look, but here's the beauty of it, right? So everyone's journey is different, and you know, and Trey's journey is different than your journey, and you done the things to make you special, right? So now we're going to get into some of that. Like, you know, in high school, you were 1,000-point scorer. That's hard. I mean, that means you was getting a lot of buckets, right? You get, for those of you that don't know basketball terms out there, when you score, we call that getting buckets, right? And so that means you were getting it in, right? And being somebody who's 1,000-point scorer, your hard work paid off. But I want to. So you tell me about like is that a memory that you can remember, like being 1,000-point scorer? Is that a part of your DNA and your makeup that you go, okay, yeah, I get it. That was what I did. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, but I also remember that in college. But the thing that kind of I hold on to the most is breaking the record for threes made.
We getting to the Ball State game. Slow down. You over here reading my notes. Yeah, we getting to the Ball State game. Yeah. We gonna get to that.
I'm like, the 1,000 points was for sure like, wow. But it was kind of something that I didn't really see coming until I was close. You know, I wasn't like, oh, that's a goal of mine. I got to score 1,000 points. My coach pulled me aside and was like, you close. You had like 990. I was like, what? And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I had to think back like, well, I've been here a minute. I've been doing what I'm supposed to do, you know? So, yeah.
You know, hey, I'm glad that one, you know, it was on your mind and somebody pulls you to the side. I had a buddy when I was in school and he finished at 988. And and I remember going to the last game and I say, look, man, like, you know, from a friend standpoint, I don't know if we're going to win. This is in college. I said, I don't know if we're going to win. You might as well just go on out and jack it up. But he was so dedicated in team that he came up a little bit short. I said, nah, man, you should have won and got it. So I'm glad that was a part of your journey. Now, you mentioned something really special, and I got it here in my notes, right? It's written down. So we got Ohio University, right, versus Ball State. And now, for those that don't know, you came out and was on fire in the zone, right? I don't want to steal your thunder. You tell us about what happened during that game. Hold on. Listeners, you can't see this smile, but this game she's about to talk about, she is over here smiling, you know, ear to ear. This is a good memory. Share with us OU, Ball State. Break it down for us.
So this was February 2019. It wasn't a regular weekend. We had a doubleheader this day. It was a Saturday. It was siblings weekend as well. So my sister was staying with me and my roommates. A lot of my family had came down. My roommates' families came down. Like, it was just a lot of support in the convo this day. And it was just a good Saturday. You know how you just feeling good? And I just remember I hit the first 3 shots, and all my shots were threes. My first shots were threes. So I hit the first 3. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, and the thing with me is, like, the corner 3 is my favorite. I don't know why. A lot of people say that's the hardest shot, but for me, it's so easy. Yeah. And I also remember, like, if you're ever playing against me and you close out on me and you're short, I'm still going to shoot. And that was one thing that was one thing that I just, like, kind of developed as a player is, like, I'm going to shoot regardless. Like, you might be this close to blocking me and I got confidence enough in my shot. I'm going to shoot. So they just, you know, they were just lax on me, at least, you know. And so I'm like, dang, this is like number 5 that I hit in a row. I think it was like, I think the 6th shot was probably the one I missed. And then after that, I just was on fire. And, like, my teammates were really hyping me up. They were so good about getting me the ball, but not forcing me the ball. And I was just feeling it. Like, I'm like, this is a good game. We did end up kind of beating them by a lot of points, so it wasn't like a very close game, but it was fun. We were competing.
Yeah.
Everybody was working hard.
No. I was just going to say, I mean, your performance probably was a part and you contributed to it not being a close game, because I share with people, every game that's a blowout starts at 0-0. You know what I mean? It's not like blowouts start with you got a 30-point. Y'all didn't get a 30-point lead. Y'all developed a 30-point lead over the course of the game, and that's just what happens when you're having that type of day, right? The score starts 0-0, but y'all finished like 94 to like 60 something, right? I mean, and y'all went off. Now I'm going to share the stat line, a piece of it you went 11 for 15 on threes. I mean, you was getting it that game. Right?
I was feeling it.
You're in it. You're in that zone. The convo is probably going crazy. I can only imagine. And so now you win the game. Have you really had a chance to like step back and reflect on that as a special moment? Because for a lot of people, right, in their athletic career, whether that's high school, whether that extends to college, and even individuals who make it to the league, right? And in any sport, make it professionally, I should say. Any sport you make it in, you could have this phenomenal career, but then you have these special moments. So this special moment for you, have you really had a chance to settle in and look back on it and really reflect on it, or you know what I mean? Or how do you think about it often, or how does this play for you out? You know what I mean? As being a couple years removed.
I think about it often, just because I wasn't able to finish basketball the way I wanted to because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the most special memories that I have with it. Because it actually it hurt the way that we finished back in 2020. So that memory is going to forever be in my heart. And I remember so vividly, like when I did, because the previous record for Ohio was 10. And that was Kiana Black.
KB.
KB, yes. She actually was part of the staff when I broke the record. So that was such a moment for us, too, to share that. And then I remember when they got the announcers, they said, Amani Burke just broke the record for most threes made. And I'm literally taking the ball out, and I'm like at the other end of the court. We're about to go down. And like, I just hear everybody, cheering for me, happy. And I'm like, wow, I really just broke it. I didn't even know. First of all, I knew I was close because my coaches, they were like, all right, stay the course. But like, I really wasn't thinking about it until it was brought to my attention. So I'm just like, this is amazing, especially for how rocky basketball had been for me, just from a mental standpoint. Not even, I'll go out there and I'll do what I got to do. But like, off the court, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm ready to be done, So it was a booster for sure. And I think every year I would have one of those where I'm like, okay, like it's not bad, it's really not that bad. You're hard on yourself, like loosen up a little. So but I'm always going to have that memory. And I'm going to tell people too, people that I meet out here, they're like, oh, you didn't hoop. And I'm like,
who you telling? I hooped, yes, indeed. Yeah.
See, my thing is everybody want to play one-on-one versus me. I'm like, let's go shoot. Let's go shoot.
Yeah.
That's really what I like to do.
Certainly. Well, and here's the beauty of it, right? So all of us at some point, the ball stops bouncing, whatever stage that is, right? And so the thing that's good about a memory, especially a historical memory, right? So like, I mean, I had some special games, but I ain't had no games like this, right? I ain't in that boat. I ain't had these type of special games, but memories all the same. When you get a chance to have a special game, those are things that you can reach down to. And you can pull out, you can reach into your soul when you're having a trying moment, even if it's not conscious. You have that strength to overcome whatever you may be facing in life, that adversity that maybe comes your way. And that's really what sports is all about. Sports is this beautiful catalyst that says, I can actually do more than I think I can do, right? So because sports pushes you to a limit that you're not going to necessarily get pushed to in everyday life, right? So I want to kind of transition now. We've got a chance. We've talked a little bit about, hey, look, in Eastmoor, growing up in a home of a basketball family, the things you've done at OU, when you look back on it, and you talked a little bit about, and maybe you've already answered this, but when you look back on it, who are kind of those people that you got the moments, you got the floor, you got, you know what I mean, you're shining right now. Who do you want to share a little bit of love with that helped, you know, your journey and helped your path?
My dad. For sure. That's the first person that came to mind, because sometimes I get emotional when I think about it, because I wanted to quit so much. And like my mom, she absolutely was my support as well. But my mom was like, girl, you ain't quitting. And Here comes my dad, you know, he's the softie for me. I'm his baby. Okay. He'll come in and be like, especially after a bad game, then I really want to quit. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm so mad. And that's how you knew I really loved it. I just didn't know at the time. And he always would just emphasize, you got to have short-term memory. You got to have short-term memory. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to do well every game. And it's going to be hard, but you can do it. And you're doing it, and you're doing great. He's, you know, always would tell me, like, I'm proud of you. This is in the Eastmoor and OU. Like, we would be traveling, and we would take these sleeper buses, and we would go to the like worst places ever. I mean, it would be cold, it would be dark and rainy, snowy, and it's just like it can get real depressing, you know, just being with the same people and having that same routine, especially when you're not winning or you're, you know, just whatever life throws at you. And my dad would usually be the one that could like calm me down and get me to kind of see the bigger picture. And then of course my brother is my extrinsic motivation, you know, like sometimes I'm not motivated by myself. Sometimes I'm motivated by what he's doing or what he's not doing, or, you know, and I think my coaches too, I have to shout out all of my coaches from when I started playing when I was 11 to literally my last game. And even after that, coaches that still I talk to, I have such a village of coaches. And I
love the way you phrased that just now.
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful because I have a different relationship with all of them, you know, and to this day, we can chop it up for hours and just go into memories or what I'm trying to do with, you know, my goals are, my life, and just anything. So that's definitely, when I think of basketball, that's what I think of, those people.
We're going to start to wind down, but I want to, so give me, like, here you are, a successful woman athlete, you know what I mean? And you played and you've done all these things. As a young woman, what do you share with other young ladies? You know, right now, I got a middle school girl. She's listening, like, let's say, and what do you say to a young woman who is trying to say, like, that's what I want. Those are the experiences I'm looking for, the path that I'm trying to go on. So share whatever advice you want to give at this stage. What can you share back to somebody who can take away? And this is what I share oftentimes on the show. What you say right now can touch many listeners different way. It could be a parent right now who's hearing you talk about your dad and saying, you know what, I need to be that for my daughter. It can be, you know, an older sibling who's hearing you talk about Trey, right? Or just all these different types of, but you share in your words, what is something that maybe if you're looking back on it, what advice would you give to yourself going back a couple years ago to say, hey, look, do this or do that?
It's going to be tough and it's going to feel like you can't, but I promise you, you can do it. Whatever, and that person knows what that is. You know, I don't know what that is for everyone, but I feel like everyone has that thing where they're like, this might be too tough, or, you know, they're like, I'm not really seeing the expected, you know, what I thought was going to happen, but I promise you can do it. And really it's going to be hard to find out, you know, what you like or what your passion is. I still don't know it. I'm still figuring that out. But try to find that thing that makes you happy. You can just do it, you know, without getting paid, without status, without any, you know, you love to do it. Find that thing and stick to it. And just trust God. Like, that's really how I got through college. I used to wake up in the morning and listen to Bible promises. I know it's, some people probably like, what are those? But like, I would get on YouTube because here I am getting up. I'm not an early bird. So we would have 7 a.m. We would have 7 a.m. workouts, and like where my dorm was located, I would just literally have to just walk across the street. But like, it would be dark outside, and that would make me so mad that I'm up that early to go work out for this sport that I don't want to play.
There you go.
It paid off, and I can't express that enough. Like, just go through it. You got to go through it.
Certainly.
And know like it's gonna work out.
I love it. And let me share to all the basketball wannabes out there, because in the basketball world, especially in college, we get up early. I remember when I got to school and they said the practice starts at 5:30. I said, in the morning? I said, whoa, like, you know what I mean? And I can remember those workouts. Like you said, you're up, and this would be the phrase that me and my college buddies used to use all the time, because college is a different experience all in itself, right? Because you got all these people on the campus and kids want to have fun. And we used to always talk about how we had to hang out with the owls and get up with the roosters. Right, because college has that night experience, right? Because there's just a bunch of young people there and you're having fun. But when you're an athlete, whether you having fun or not, you got to be at that gym at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Whatever time that courageous coach decides you're going to be there, that's when you have to be in there. So here's what I want to know now. That we started off the show this way, and we want to get back to it. You're in Dallas. How do you get to Texas, right? You a Midwestern baby. You one of us up here. You an Ohio girl. How do you get to Texas? How does your journey get you there?
So we're gonna take it back to 2020. That was the start of. Everyone was calling it the end of the world, but 2020 was just so chaotic. And I remember we were in our MAC tournament. And we kind of had momentum. Like we were for sure going to win that tournament. After our very first game, we had beat Western Michigan, and we're in Cleveland. And then we just hear that the tournament's over. Our coach called, like we're literally getting ready to go to practice for our next game that morning.
Wow.
Our coach calls us. We have a mandatory meeting in his room, and he's like, "Hey guys, like, I'm sorry to tell y'all, but the tournament has been canceled. We got to pack up and go home." Like, it was crazy. And then on the way there was so crazy and ironic about it. On the way there, we were seeing articles like tournaments are being canceled, and we making jokes, like, they ain't in our tournament. Like, that's funny, Right. And so when it happened, it was actually really devastating, because for me, I'm like, dang, like I should have appreciated it while I had it, because now it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then after that, it just seemed like it was so hard to get interviews for a job. I had plans to go to the Final Four, the women's Final Four, but of course that was canceled too. So like everything kind of just turned around for me, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I started working. I worked at Smoothie King. I worked at a jazz club where I was a server. I was like, this is not what I went to school for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It was real life, and I'm glad I went through it. I was grateful enough to have met someone who created a program for student athletes who didn't have the opportunity to study abroad or have internship or externship experience. His name is Amalia Musa, and he created a program called Make a Play, where he takes student athletes of underrepresented backgrounds, and he brings them together, and we go through a 3-month training for resume building, interviewing, consulting, and he puts you in a sector that you choose, and has a 95% job placement rate. So
nice. Okay.
Of the class that comes in and goes through the program will be placed in a job of their choice. And so I was placed at Deloitte, a consulting firm. And I am now in Dallas, Texas, because my building is probably like 0.4 miles. It's probably like 4 blocks away from me, where I work. I'm completely remote right now, which is such a blessing. I love it. I'm like, wow, this is all that stuff I went through. Now I'm able to like reflect and go, wow, that it was all worth it. It was all, part of a plan. So I am now in Dallas. I love Dallas. I'm actually downtown. This is the first time that I've really kind of been on my own after college.
Okay.
And so it's just a learning experience. Like everything that I'm going through right now and I'm in right now, I'm like, what I did before really prepared me for it.
That's a beautiful journey that you share. And the thing is that like a lot of times, this is what I heard you say just now, and maybe you didn't even reflect on it this way. You believed in yourself. You trusted in yourself to be able to take those next steps. Moving to a different city is a big deal. Like that's not an easy thing for everybody out there that's listening. So you've done a lot of things, and it's good that we go back to the support system, everyone in your life that made you feel comfortable that, yeah, I could make this move and take this step and journey down to, another part of our country and then be successful and be happy and be all those things that you're talking about. Right. And so I share this piece on behalf of, the Columbus City League, all of us back home. I know your parents and family tell you how proud they are of you, but we're proud of you. We want to see you continue to strive and be happy. And now I'm going to say this to everybody in Dallas, take care of our Columbus baby down there, right? Like take care of you down there. But look, don't forget about us, obviously back here in Columbus. You know what I mean? You're always a part of the family. And we're excited that, I'm excited that we opened this year's show with you on the show. Excited to catch up to you, hear what you're doing, see how life is treating you, and keep on doing your thing. You should find somebody to make you a T-shirt that says something like 11 threes or something. We're gonna have to figure that out so you can. So you know what I mean. You got one of those night shirts. When somebody get to talking crazy to you, like you could just point and be like 11 threes. 11 threes, partner, right? Like I put it to bed one day. So I'm excited for you. Glad you came on the show. You got any lasting thoughts you want to share before I do our outro here?
Thank you so much for having me. I would love to be on the show again. This was fun. I love talking about my experiences. So I absolutely appreciate this. And I actually come home a lot more than I should. My mom be like, why you keep coming back so much? And I'm like, because
there you go.
Somebody always like, oh, this is going on this week. This going on this week. So yeah.
This is a beautiful time in your space. We're happy to be a part of your chapter and your journey and everything that you've gone through. And like you said, we'll keep on looking for the next thing, and we'll go from there. So now I gotta read our outro and do our piece that we do here on this side. But for everybody who's listening with us today and watching, Amani Burke, it's amazing to have you in the studio with us here. So let me get our outro. I share this. Much respect to you, right? Appreciate everything that you've done with your journey, with your path, with your life, and everything you've given back to us. I will share for our listeners now to be sure to catch all future episodes on radio WCBE 90.5. Also catch us on Spotify, Apple, or the platform you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. Additionally, follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. Until next time, I'm Vince Clarno, and this is City League Sports.